Recently, a study out of China was published saying the coronavirus may have emerged from one of the facilities doing research on animals, notably the Wuhan Center for Disease Control, which is literally across the street from the Wuhan seafood market. It says that someone was probably involved in the evolution of the virus, may have gotten bitten by a bat. One of the researchers actually had quarantined himself in the past after being exposed to a coronavirus in bats. That's very similar to the coronavirus we're seeing right now. This story is starting to emerge, and many outlets, many verified, NewsGuard certified outlets are picking this up, saying this is one of our best leads. We don't know where it came from, but several researchers put out a report from the South China, I believe it's South Beijing or some Chinese university, saying here's what we think is most likely. There is now evidence to suggest from the scientific community in China, of all places, that this originated in one of these facilities. Tom Cotton told us this was a possibility. He never said he knew for sure. He said China was lying and we need to entertain these hypotheses and figure out what's really going on, though a natural cause is still the most likely. It's a very sensible thing to say. I agree 100%. Yet what is the American press saying? The Washington Post publishes outright fake news. I detest these people. And you know, I tried really hard not to swear, but boy, do I want to swear right now at the disgusting ineptitude and laziness of the Washington Post with their snide, snooty, elitist ivory tower. I won't swear. They say the theory was already debunked. Then you have the New York Times. Tom Cotton repeats fringe theory of coronavirus origins. Duh. Morons. Disgusting, inept morons working for these companies. Tom Cotton is right. There are no conspiracy theories, just several hypotheses as to the origin of the virus because we don't know yet. It was a very sane and rational thing to say, considering the level of preparedness underway. U.S. military is prepared for a full-blown pandemic. The same warning was given to the UK Parliament, so we should take this seriously. It may blow over, fine, but the deaths are now near around, 1,800. So it's going up. And there are concerns from experts speaking to the U.S. Senate and to the British Parliament that this could reach 60% of the population. It's serious. And with this new study that was just published, or report, whatever you want to call it, from these scientists, that it may very well have originated from a bat coronavirus contamination, why would the New York Times and the Washington Post play this stupid game? The American press is complete and utter garbage. I'm going to read you these stories, but let me first start by saying metro.co.uk. Did coronavirus start in Chinese lab where bats attacked scientists and peed on them? A new paper from the Beijing-sponsored South China University of Technology cast doubt on the government's theory that the deadly infection emerged at a seafood market in Wuhan. We know that's not the case now. Or I should say, many scientists have said it's not the case when they realized some people had been infected earlier than the initial infections from the seafood market, and that at the very least it emerged somewhere else before going to the seafood market. How about this? thesun.co.uk. Both of these are certified by NewsGuard, mind you. I'm not saying you have to like what NewsGuard is, but this is a group, an organization that checks the credibility of outlets, saying these are credible outlets. Bat attack. Coronavirus may have started in Wuhan lab where hundreds of bats attacked and peed on scientists, experts say. And then we have this, tonline.de. I don't even know what this website is, but it's certified by NewsGuard, green across the board. Look at that. They say it's the best of the best. Score 100 out of 100. Coronavirus. Researcher suspects laboratory next to Wuhan's fish market. Man, and what's this? Inquisitor. Deadly coronavirus may have originated in Chinese government laboratory. What? But this has also got a 100 out of a 100. So let's talk about why the New York Times and the Washington Post are complete garbage gutter trash rags. Tom Cotton never said this was a leaked bioweapon. He said that we should entertain any possibility until the evidence comes in because China is lying to us. What did they do? Smeared him. Why? Because they're partisan trash trying to make Tom Cotton look bad, I guess. Meanwhile, we have several other outlets, certified news outlets saying, hey, this might be the case. Now, is it true it originated in a lab? No. But researchers are saying it's likely. that somebody was probably involved in the evolution of this virus. That's actually what it says. Yet the New York Times and the Washington Post will tell you it's already been debunked. Excuse me? The stories about this coming from a lab just happened the other day. What do you mean it's been debunked? Where are you? What are you, sleeping under a rock? Oh, I know what's actually happening. They're not journalists. They don't do any work. These are the people that already know the story before they write it. They already know the story before they visit the scene. You see, they're air quote journalists doing this all the time. They say, I'm going to go down to this rally for Trump, and I already know the story I'm writing. Let me try and find evidence to support it, instead of going down, gathering evidence, and figuring out what happened. Let's read the story from the Washington Post. Mind you, it is complete trash, gutter trash. The Washington Post says, Senator Tom Cotton, R. of Arkansas, repeated a fringe theory suggesting that the ongoing spread of coronavirus is connected to research in the disease-ravaged epicenter of Wuhan, China. Fringe theory? Oh, man. So weird that you're the odd outlets out, and that several other outlets, not just right-wing ones that are all certified by a third-party agency, are all saying, oh, a scientific report is saying that may actually be the case. Fringe theory? Out of a university? You people are insane. I hate the press in this country, man. Cotton referenced a laboratory in the city, the Wuhan National Biosafety Lab, in an interview on Fox News' Sunday Morning Features. And there you go. The reason why they're smearing him and calling him a conspiracy theorist is because he's a Republican who appeared on Fox News talking about something that's been reported far and wide. He said the lab was near a market some scientists initially thought was a starting point for the virus to spread. We don't know where it originated, and we have to get to the bottom of that. We also know that just a few miles away from that food market is China's only biosafety level 4 super laboratory that researches human infectious disease. How funny that you literally have evidence to suggest there may be a connection. And they say it's debunked and there's no evidence. They could show up to a crime scene and literally see a guy holding the weapon and be like, well, it doesn't prove anything. That's just a fringe theory. It's like the guy's right there, dude. And then an expert comes in and says, we actually think that guy holding the weapon did it. Well, I don't know. This was already debunked by us without evidence. They go on to say, yet Cotton acknowledged there is no evidence that the disease originated at the lab. Instead, he suggested it's necessary to ask Chinese authorities about the possibility, fanning the embers of a conspiracy theory that has been repeatedly debunked by experts. Oh, I cannot stand these awful people. Ineptitude, complete and utter ineptitude. How I want to swear so bad. I just cannot stand these vile, disgusting morons that are so stupid it may actually get people hurt. They're so interested in smearing the Republican senator, they didn't bother to Google search what he claimed. God, they're so dumb. Cotton is referring to a well-known lab in Wuhan. Cellular level biosafety level 4. Is that not evidence? You stupid people. It's like, how insane is this? There's literally a biolab in the city where the outbreak occurred. It's like the first thing you would check is, was there a breach at your biolab? Where could this have come from? No? All right, well, we'll keep it in mind. That's just a normal thing to do. But look, it's not just about what is common sense. Like Tom Cotton, what he's saying is common sense. It's about the fact you literally have a scientific paper from a South China University, Beijing sponsored, like the Chinese government who's been lying this whole time, either is losing control or they're letting the truth seep out or they're sponsoring misinformation, whatever. I don't know. But this is the information we have right now. It's the best we can do. Man, look, let me read you what Tom Cotton said. He said, let me debunk the debunkers. Paulina Milla and her, quote, experts wrongly jump straight to the claim that the coronavirus is an engineered bioweapon. That's not what I've said. There's at least 4 hypotheses about the origin of the virus. 1, natural, still the most likely, but almost certainly not from the Wuhan sea market. 2, good science, bad safety. They were researching things like diagnostic testing and vaccines, but an accidental breach occurred. 3, bad science, bad safety. This is an engineered bioweapon hypothesis with an accidental breach. And 4, deliberate release. Very unlikely, but shouldn't rule out till the evidence is in. Again, none of these are theories and certainly not conspiracy theories. They are hypotheses that ought to be studied in light of the evidence, if the Chinese Communist Party would provide it. We ought to be transparent with the American people about all of this Maybe some of these so-called experts think they know better. I don't, and they really don't either. I think so he also posted the New York Times, or I'm sorry, no, this is the New York Times story that I have pulled up. Scientists have dismissed suggestions the Chinese government was behind the outbreak, but it's the kind of tale that gains traction among those who see China as a threat. New York Times, which country are you in? I don't trust you at all. No one, Tom Cotton never said the Chinese government deliberately released this or created it. He said those were actually unlikely, but they were existing hypotheses, which I agree they are. But how do you now answer, just think about how awful these outlets are. That you literally have this report that I can pull up, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4 different outlets, and I pulled these up in like 10 seconds. Now, is the Inquisitor, the Sun, T-Online, or Metro more credible than the New York Times? Technically, I'd say no. The Gray Lady and, the paper, the paper of record and Washington Post are supposed to be great, credible papers. But what they're presenting in these articles is partisan nonsense, attacking Fox News and a Republican and failing to even mention the fact that a report came out from China saying, hey, this is possible. So they say there's no evidence. And even Tom Cotton acknowledges there's no evidence. There is evidence. The first evidence, which is circumstantial, is that the CDC in Wuhan and the biolab are extremely close. It's not proof. It's circumstantial evidence. When investigating this, you'd say, okay, what are the possible sources? Well, lo and behold, these two facilities are nearby. The next bit of evidence is the fact that one of the researchers, as documented by this paper, was actually bitten by a bat and had to quarantine himself for 14 days. Why, that sounds like a tremendous bit of evidence to suggest the quarantine he put himself under was ineffective and it wasn't government mandated. You can then see the panic from the Chinese government, and it starts to seem like this is not some natural occurrence and they know something they're not telling us. Or at the very least, it is natural and they know something they're not telling us. The New York Times reports, I'll do reports in air quotes, the rumor appeared shortly after the new coronavirus struck China and spread almost as quickly. That the outbreak now afflicting people around the world has been manufactured by the Chinese government. This is a trick the media does for some reason. I have no idea what her intention is. I guess to smear Tom Cotton. It's all politics. You'll see Snopes doing it. There'll be something like this. Donald Trump will eat a bowl of chocolate ice cream. Someone will then tweet, Trump was eating chocolate ice cream. Snopes will then create the headline. Did Donald Trump actually eat chocolate ice cream with a silver spoon? False. And then you go, that proves all these Republicans are liars, herpy-derp. They add the last little bit to make the whole thing fake. And at the very end of the article, it'll say something like, while it is true Trump was in fact eating ice cream, and Tom Cotton was absolutely correct when he said so, it is not true, as some believe, that he was using a silver spoon to do it. But no one ever said that. Who is saying right now that the Chinese government made this and leaked it? Yes, a fringe conspiracy. This Tom Cotton didn't say that. He pointed out that there is some circumstantial evidence that should be investigated. And they immediately misrepresent what he's saying to say he's incorrect, to make him look crazy, because instead of caring about what's actually happening, these psychotic sociopaths who claim to be journalists are either willfully lying or they're some of the stupidest people on the planet. The coronavirus has been worse every step of the way. Every report that's come out, it's only gotten worse. At first, you had people saying, oh, the flu is worse. Now it's like, oh, actually, this is traveling as fast as the flu with a substantially higher mortality rate. Oh, I thought the flu was worse. But the flu is infecting more people. But the flu season started several months ago, so that could explain those numbers. You mean to tell me that the mortality rate is like 10 to 20 times higher and it's traveling as fast and only just started? So it could potentially get way worse. You're telling me that the U.S. military is preparing for a full-blown pandemic? You're telling me that experts have already testified to the British Parliament and the Senate that this could reach 60% of their populations, that this is going global? And then you mean to tell me that there are 2 disease facilities in Wuhan and they have the nerve. They're so insane. And they want to smear Republicans so bad. This is the garbage pumped out by the trash rags, the New York Times, the paper of trash. The conspiracy theory lacks evidence and has been dismissed by scientists. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because as we already know, The actual scientists in China are saying it may have actually come from a lab where somebody was entangled in the evolution of the virus. Their words, not mine. But the New York Times would lie to you, or they just employ morons who don't know how to use Google. It has gained a wide audience with the help of well-connected critics of the Chinese government, such as Steve Bannon. Oh, Steve Bannon, the boogeyman. Speaking on Fox News, Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, raised the possibility the virus has originated in a high-security biolab. We don't have evidence that this disease originated there. But because of China's duplicity and dishonesty from the beginning, we need to at least ask the question to see what the evidence says. And China right now is not giving evidence on that question at all. They say he later walked back the idea. Actually, I'm pretty sure he said he didn't. Let's see if he says this. This is a quote from Tom Cotton. I haven't said the coronavirus is a Chinese bioweapon run amok, so I haven't walked back anything. What I have said is that China's official origin story of the Wuhan food market is almost certainly bogus. And given Chinese dishonesty and lack of transparency, we have to consider all possibilities until the evidence is in. But sure, Jotted, you take the Chinese Communist Party line at face value. You know that recently there have been a bunch of stories about academics secretly receiving money from China and not reporting it. I think there was a story somewhere about the New York Times putting up Chinese propaganda. This is weird. Smaller outlets, outlets with not nearly as much funding are telling us right now this paper exists. But for some reason, the press in the United States is defending the Chinese Communist Party? That the Chinese Communist Party can say whatever they want and they go, you got it, Chinese Communist Party. What? These people have concentration camps, not just for the sick, for the Uyghurs. They are duplicitous, evil people, putting people in camps to harvest their organs. I'm not making that up. The New York Times thinks they're honest and telling the truth. They have to be liars. Let me wrap this up because I can only rag on these people's disgusting lack of integrity and talent so much. They're either morons who don't know what Google is. Sure, that's fair. Or they're actually willfully lying to the American people to protect China. Why? I don't know, man. Creepy. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. at youtube.com/Timcast. It's my other channel, and I will see you all then.